a game.
It's not
a real game unless you're killing people, and that's what guys want to do. And girls want to play like what's the mama cooking game where like you chop
Cooking Mama.
Yeah,
which is fun when you try to tell all the girls who play Mass Effect that they don't play video games. I don't play Mass Effect, but I know girls who do. They exist.
Yeah, I do too.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. I imported her from Ohio for this.
Just Thursday night. I stay up late Thursday nights to play Halo with people on the West Coast. So
well, yeah, and
I play with people that I'm not a video game girl, so all of this is like I'm coming at it from the outside. But like, it's because girls don't play video games, except that I'm talking to.
But seriously, my favorite game though is Lego Star Wars. So go ahead.
That's awesome. So, do you play online where you're playing with people that you don't know?
No.
Did you ever?
No, I did not, because I don't want to play with a 14-year-old boy who thinks that he knows everything. And I know that's a stereotype, and I'm just as guilty as Tony Harris. But my husband won't play online with people he doesn't know either, because he doesn't want.
No, honestly, I find that there's like an age problem with playing
online
with people you don't know. Where it's not like gender, and it's not even.
It's age.
It's when you are a 30-year-old person and you're playing with a 14-year-old kid. There tend to be some cultural issues.
And you don't know who's behind that game tag.
Yeah.
You don't know. You have no idea.
Ugly, fat, or slutty.
Say what?
Ugly, fat, or slutty. Have you seen that website?
No.
It is this collection of messages and interactions from female gamers where guys have messaged them, and it resorts to, in the end of the conversation, either you must be ugly, you must be fat, or you must be a slut because you play video games.
Right.
And sometimes these are guys that are like sending girls pictures of their dicks, and then the girl is like, why would you do that? Like, oh, you're a slut.
I get that in online dating all the time. I'm sorry.
Oh,
yeah.
oh yes.
Yeah. I know yesterday from online
everywhere.
No lie yesterday asked me what my measurements were. I'm like, okay, I know my butt measurement because it's in my size. But like, do you know your hip measurement?
Nope.
Am I making a dress?
Nope.
No. Like, good answer.
So important.
Are you making me a dress?
Do you want the slut slur, or do you want the rape threat?
Why didn't you just say, how tall are you, what do you weigh, like, do you have good teeth? Like,
are you buying me as a horse?
Yeah. I have nice childbearing gifts if that's what you're going for.
The reason why I even asked about the online gaming in the first place is that I know that I've heard of many instances of gamer girls who are using tags which are either gender neutral or like definitely a dude. It's just so that they don't get any harassment. Like they're hiding themselves so that they don't get harassed.
The wrestling Twitter that I have set up, Snarking Out on Twitter, is specifically non-gendered, because that's another community where sometimes
female writers have been doing this for centuries.
Are you kidding me? See, my family is from the South, and it's especially back in the 80s, wrestling was the thing, and it didn't matter which gender you were. And NASCAR is the same, especially in like Texas and across the South. And women are in NASCAR. I mean, it's half and half at a NASCAR event.
And I've gotten more comfortable because I will sometimes like tweet jokes about guys being hot, and sometimes I wonder with some of my followers, I'm like, do you think you're following a straight chick or a gay guy? And which one would upset you more?
Well, but see, the thing is I mean, it kind of goes back to the cosplay. Men dress up in their favorite characters too, and they can be attractive men dressed in attractive male costumes like Batman or, Superman with that, sexy little curl. No one harasses them about it.
I have talked to guys who said that at anime cons. I have talked to guys who have been harassed at anime cons because they were dressed up as characters, and like girls would just glomp them. So there is some of that, but it's not quite as prolific.
But I don't see their posts littering my Facebook page.
And
like I see these big busted women, like, oh, isn't she hot? I'm like, look at the work that went into the costume.
And I think part of that problem, and it's also, I took, there was a massive online course that I took this spring. It was gender in comic books.
I didn't take that course because I didn't have time, but I enrolled for it.
Oh, it was actually really great. There was some great discussion, and we ended up talking about, when we were having our discussion about rape in comic books, and we started talking about examples of male rape in comic books, and the fact that there have been instances where male characters have been raped by female characters, and then later writers have tried to excuse it with, oh no, he said yes, and oh no, it's okay. I think Nightwing and one of the Green Arrows had that happen to them.
Yeah.
And people have been like, well, it's okay because he's a guy because he wanted it. And that ties back in with a lot of the same stuff that we're talking about, because it's like, no, it's not okay. I mean, you can't write off the fact that it's still rape just because guys supposedly want sex all the time. It's the sexism thing works both ways. It's the same force that oppresses us both, and it sucks, and I'm going to stop before I keep asking.
But no, I think that's a really good point. I think it's important to acknowledge that rape is an issue that is in some ways gender-free, and that harassment at conventions is an issue that in some ways is gender-free. And maybe women are experiencing it more, but also we're at this weird point where now women are talking about it. Women can talk about their assault, they can talk about being raped, they can talk about being harassed. And often feel better because they have a space that they can talk about it, and guys who have these experiences are still told things like, well, you're a guy, so you wanted it. Women can't rape men. That didn't happen.
Oh, that's
probably
such
all the
crap.
same garbage that we were hearing 10 years ago, men are hearing, and they are reluctant to speak out. And I think that it's important for every feminist to make as big a deal out of that as we do about the things that are happening to us. Because
I don't go to many cons though, so it's.
Anthrocon was a good example of everybody grabbing everybody.
That was the first
We were
con
both
I'd
at
ever.
Anthrocon
That's
last
the first
weekend.
con I'd ever been to, and it was. Everyone was touching it, like the security guy. I was dealing with some electronic boards, and one guy was looking at him and passing it to a security guy, and touching his hand to dispel the static before I handed him the board and all this different stuff. He goes, "I'm not just touching you to touch you. I'm touching you to dispel static." And he's like, I'm a security guy at Anthrocon. Everyone touched me. It was funny.
So I think that this is a good place to wind down. I'm going to open up for questions. You guys have been pretty vocal, but if there's anything that we haven't touched on or anything you guys want to ask the panel.
That was much better, like talking during questions.
Yeah. Well then.
Does anybody feel weird or bad?
Anybody need to lie down? Need some water?
Then, well, I want to thank the panel and thank LJs for hosting, and thank you guys for showing up. And
I have 2 links written down. If anybody would like those links, one of them is to a guy named Jim Hines, who does a lot of really cool stuff with gender role reversals and things on his website, and also has been building these roundup pages of links for the whole Sephora issue. And then a woman named S.L. Wang has built basically a timeline with tons and tons of links. It turns out that I could have slept for the last 6 months and just spent one day on her website. Everything I told you today, links to every article I quoted, it's all in one place. So if anybody wants those, just come see me up at the counter and I'll put them on the back of a business card for you, and then you can go home and be horrified all by yourself.
Can you post those on the, was there an event page?
Yeah. Oh yeah, if I do that, I'll post it all on the events page for you guys and you can check it out. But really, like, don't read it on a full stomach.
No. I do have a question. I missed one of the terms that you read off, and it was the one. It was the one about questioning, making women listen.
Information bullying.
Information
bullying. Thank
Just
you.
Chris's term.
I made it up.
It was the best way to describe the best phrase to describe that particular phenomenon
It
that
really
I've ever heard,
is.
and it happens all.
It
Yeah.
kind of comes
Oh,
out
yeah.
of the idea that men are the gatekeepers of the information, and that we can only get the information by taking it from them in some way.
Can I volunteer something on that point though? And this is not to take away from that. Geek culture, in my experience, comics culture is just full of that regard.
It is.
Like,
It is.
like I've had that happen.
Yeah.
And, you know,
And it's
too.
not just geek
It
culture
is.
either. One of the examples I used when I first was trying to find a word for this thing that happens was the DMV. You go to the DMV, you need to fill out form 32AXY, and you filled out form 32L, and the person behind the counter is like, this is 32L, what's wrong with you? Why don't you know that it was 32?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't work here and know your labyrinthine system of forms.
It's like-
I get you correcting people, why are you condescending to me? It's not my job to know
Because they work
this.
in the DMV.
Right.
But then,
Because you're a geek. I think
in
a
our
lot of that
culture.
happens because being a geek is built on cultural currency. Like what
What
you're
you know.
buying, what you're selling, what you're talking about, who you're with is all about like I know more than you about this. So it's not totally gendered, but I think that it's so easy to direct it in a sexist way.
Oh, yeah.
Something
I get at the store all the time is people coming in and say, like, that apologetic, I don't know much about comics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you see
like,
how scared people
yeah,
are. You see it firsthand.
Yeah, and I see it every day. It's like, that's fine. That's why we're
Yeah.
here. So I know this information. I want to give it to you. I want to be aware of not overwhelming
Right.
you with knowledge.
But it's like-
please ask me. That's why I'm here.
Right, but not everyone is like that. I mean, English
Yeah.
teachers are
Yeah.
the same way. I used to teach grammar. When I tell people that I taught grammar, they just immediately get defensive.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I speak
Yeah.
so badly.
I am not going to make fun of you for not knowing this stuff.
Right,
because there's a lot of it.
right.
It's what you
It's
are
very
starting to do.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I think we were all talking about the same store. I bet.
After the camera's off, we will need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette so we can go name names outside.
That would be the unofficial part of the panel. You saw nothing, you heard nothing.
Oh yeah, I also didn't say Joe Peacock because I said I wasn't gonna say it.
Oops. I said it.
Yeah.
I can't prove it. That's all.
No one can prove anything.
Anyway, thank you guys
so much, and we all have Facebook pages.
Okay, guys, happy ending. I have a staff member right now on my